thank you everybody again for coming to Unclean Hands Explain on our Patreon channel. Here we're going to explain each episode or each chapter to you in more detail, but in a fun way. So I hope you guys like it and enjoy, and thank you again for your support.
We're talking about Chapter 4, which is titled A Dark Past. So that gives us some idea as to what's coming up in this episode. And we're going to get to the past part, but I really want to jump in with this first scene with the Reverend talking to the congregation. And I thought it was a really great way to kind of set up the atmosphere of where all these characters have come from and where they've grown up by talking about really about the pipeline to prison. Mm-hmm. And, just kind of the structural and institutional racism that goes on in this country, and how a lot of people, he talks about black men getting longer sentences and harsher sentences and things like that. So I think that really helps to set up like why some of these characters are the way they are and where they've been and where they've come from and what they experience.
Well, I wrote that from, family experience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I literally know that happened to my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
They gave him 43 years.
Damn.
For something that the judge, the reason why they cut his time in half,
mm-hmm.
because somebody recorded the judge saying that she wished she gave more niggas more time.
Wow.
And then they disbarred her.
Yeah.
And everybody she gave sentence for 15 years, they cut their sentence in half. That's the only reason why he home. Wow. He only got 22, he did 43.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that
crazy.
Really does happen. So that was my inspiration for that. But then the rest of the sermon, I mean, I wrote that. You ever seen a movie called The Education of Sonny Carson?
It's familiar, but I haven't seen it.
Well, Lauryn Hill used for her album Education of Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
Education of Sonny Carson, guy from Brooklyn back in the 50s. But it's a scene called Who Killed Lil Boy? Mm-hmm. And my wife hates this scene because the preacher goes off, and I just say it over and over. He said, who killed little boy? He crying and shit. My wife hates it, but I just love that. He has so much passion. Yeah. So I just use what he was talking about in the 50s to what it means now.
Yes.
And people can relate to it.
Mm-hmm.
But and it's sad but true. That still happens.
Absolutely.
I have family members that, he never thought he was coming home, B.
Mm-hmm.
43 years. You get somebody there at 29?
Right.
But I was there for him. I rocked for my people. I made sure he was good, and then he's home. He's living great. But the thing is, that was my inspiration for writing that. And then I wrote about how the mothers had to raise these kids by themselves.
Yeah.
And I wrote it, to be honest, what girl grew up saying she wanted to be a single mother?
Right.
Not one.
And yet so many wind up in that situation.
Yeah, not one. Mm-hmm. Because when those guys in jail, who's going to raise them? TV?
Yeah.
TV, you know what I mean? And they pushing another agenda on them.
Right.
So I just want to bring it to light,
And it really did, because that point hit home where, yes, we talk about all the men in particular. I mean, women go to prison too, mm-hmm. but all these single mothers that are the result of that people don't always look at as much.
Yeah, because like I said, man, I have daughters of my own. I have daughters because I'm a thinker. That's what I say. You got daughters, you're a thinker. But yeah, I just didn't. My daughters, I guarantee they ain't want to be single mothers growing up. They want to be princesses, mm-hmm. So that's hard on her. And you got to make her be the father and the mother. That's impossible.
Yeah.
At a certain age, you're going to rebel.
Right. And
you got to have that male figure there. I'm lucky I had my father. That's my man, 50 grand. I love my dad to death. Like my father told me, if I wasn't his son, I'd still be his friend. That was enough for me, Yeah. But I had that. I grew up with a lot of people who didn't. So yeah, that's why I wrote that, and it really touched a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I got a lot of people emailing me and commenting on my social media, the Instagram at Boyd Crest, and also on even the Amazon. Mm-hmm. And Boys Noble, people leave their reviews, and they said the same thing. That sermon at home. But the thing is, Vernon Hargrave, who has Junior, who did the sermon itself, he did that in one take.
Wow, it's
one
impressive.
Take. The hairs on my arm stood up. You understand? Uh-huh. So what I do with my voiceover actors, I don't like to really be in there with them because they I don't know, I intimidate them or whatever. Military dudes are like, So I'm like, I talk to them like, you guys set up, you good?
Right.
Then I leave.
Okay.
But I wanted to be there for that speech.
Yeah.
Because if I knew he could do that, then he's worth the money. And he one take.
Wow,
One
that's
take,
impressive.
bro.
Is he a reverend or a minister?
No. I mean, he grew up in the church like most of us.
Yeah.
But boy, that's what happened. When he was about to do this, I pulled him outside the studio and I said, "Look, man, I know you know he was sweating bullets." I'm like, "Yo, relax. I'm not gonna be in there with you, but I need you to bring it."
Yeah.
I said, "You been to church, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Cool. Well, take me to church."
Yeah, good direction.
And he took me to church. He closed his eyes because he'd already knew the lines.
Yeah.
He never read it. He just closed his eyes and did it because he already had the book.
Yeah.
And that's the key. I always put the book out first.
Right.
Well, the screenplay, then the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I would say in a lesser delivery voice actor, that, no pun intended, but it could have seemed preachy, but it came across as genuine, as though someone were really saying it from the heart, and especially in a church situation like this, or a church presentation, or, as he's doing it as
I always
sermon.
like Lil Vernon voice. He got that radio voice.
Yes,
but
yes.
man, when I saw that guy saying that and tears was rolling down his eyes,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I touched him.
Yeah.
He read it. He got it.
You can tell he's
and that's
feeling
all I want.
Yeah.
Wait till the animation come out. It's going to be even better.
Oh, yeah.
But you want to touch your audience. And again, I have to grab you. Because remember, after this chapter, it's going fast ever since.
Well, and his sermon there, it's foreshadowing of what's about to happen, because he's talking about, prison and everything. And then all of a sudden, Bells shows up, who we haven't seen yet. He shows up and is in the back of the church watching, and it sets the minister or the reverend spinning. He's just coming
my
apart
man
now
Bells,
after that.
The blast from the past, Yeah, everybody got a little past, and Bells come to clean things up.
Yes.
And so, Bells is going to be a great character. I could have did a spinoff on Bell, but I made him older because I have other things to do with this. I don't want to spin off like that. I have certain messages I want to do with this.
Okay.
But Bells come to change some things.
Well, and sets it in motion right away with the sort of assault on the church. And really, it's directed at the Reverend, but it's not meant to hurt him. It's meant to show him who's still in control after all these years, it feels like to me anyway.
Well, the assault was actually the other gang getting back.
Okay, yeah. Oh, he didn't orchestrate
No,
that. Okay.
it had nothing to do with the Reverend.
Because he didn't seem bothered by it at all, so I thought
No,
maybe
he's
he
used
had
to that because his background.
Yeah, it's true.
He's used to that.
Yeah.
Well, he was scared the hell of when Bell showed up.
Ah, okay.
Again, how I said somebody went to jail for a long time and all of a sudden they home.
Right.
And you thought they're going to be there forever.
Yeah.
And you did wrong to them. Yeah, you're going to be shook.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. But the violence in the church part, that's just gang getting back at gang.
Okay. Well, that scene still hurt a little bit, though, because then you realize that the Reverend is just given this amazing talk, and then you find out his history, too, and what he's up to now, and you're like, oh, man, he's not entirely what you think he is, much like most of the characters in here are more than you think.
That's why I titled it Unclean Hands. Nobody hands is clean.
Yeah.
Everybody has a past. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why I named it Unclean Hands. No one has clean hands. Everybody has some dirt.
And he has his hands all over two 19-year-olds back at his house, too, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, he's got a whole thing going on.
Exactly. I mean, most reverends I know some good reverends, but there's some out there just do it for the money,
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, yeah. And like you said, there's a lot of unclean hands.
There you go.
I know this is coming in future episodes, but obviously the Reverend has done some misdeeds to Bells here. So I assume we're going to learn more about their connection and their history.
Yeah, because you see how shocked the Reverend was.
Yeah.
I mean, and I wanted him to be stone-faced. They're like, oh my God, what's going on? So you could feel that. And by just reading it or just looking at it, you're like, okay. Mm-hmm. Reverend is not all he seemed to be.
No, definitely not.
And then let's go on this journey so you can know exactly what this guy did. I mean, he got good parts too, but your past is your past, and sometimes it can catch up with you.
Yep, and then he takes his Bentley.
Yeah.
On top of everything, he's like, you know what? Give me some cash and your Bentley.
Yeah. That's why I made it cool because if somebody take my Bentley, I'm like, come on, B. You know what I mean? I don't even drive that thing that much. That's for me and wife. We go out, but yeah, I just wanted him to know that you owe.
Yeah.
if this guy went to jail for that long and you didn't look out for him commissary, and where I'm from, you look out for your people. You know what I'm saying? Even though I didn't help you do the crime, and if you were successful with that crime, you wouldn't have gave me no money, but you still family.
Right.
And I'm not going to let you sit there and I'm going to make sure you can eat.
Yeah.
Because it's dangerous in there. It's wolves in there. And I'm going to make sure at least you got the money. Now, you got to still handle yourself.
Yeah.
But for us commissary and all that, yeah, you're going to be storing there with me. I make sure you always got money. You're never going to miss a Christmas. You always going to have a phone call.
Yeah.
That's the least I can do.
Right.
You know what I mean? If something happened to me like that, God forbid, even though I got bail money now, but still, I suspect people to take care of me.
Right. And he didn't do that for Bells,
And
obviously.
and sometimes it's a I don't know how you call this, but sometimes it's a burden on the family too. While you going to jail, we didn't ask you to do that crime. Now we got to take care of you.
Right.
They don't think about that part of the criminals who actually did the thing.
Yeah.
That you putting a burden on us. I can't put you on my taxes. But yet I've been taking care of you for 20-something years.
Right.
But it's called love, You got to love.
But it sounds like the Reverend could have been giving Bells some money, because he just says after his Bentley's taken, he calls someone and says, yeah, get me another one, but get me a convertible this time. So he's obviously not hurting.
No.
So I no wonder Bells is kind of pissed, because
exactly. So
could
he
have been
wanted him
supporting
to suffer in there.
Yeah.
So it was always a dirty deal. And you'll see more about that later. But, this showing the character. Just because he's a reverend don't mean he is a saint.
Right.
Just because he's a reverend don't mean he's going to heaven. Some people just do it for the money.
Right.
You don't pay taxes.
Yeah, it's
You know what I
true.
mean? So every bank, every church is actually a trust or a bank. So he really got it good there. So that's why I did it for. Just to show you that different choice. Again, it's about choices. And again, no one hands is clean.
Well, thanks again for all the detail, and we'll see everyone next week.
All right, thank you guys again for listening to Unclean Hands Explained. Also, don't forget to check out our social media platforms. On Instagram, we have Boardcrest Animation, and also our YouTube channel, Boardcrest Animation, where you can check all our episodes that's coming future with our other series as well. But Unclean Hands, thank you guys, the Patreon channel, again for supporting us, and we're going to continue to give you more new content. Thank you again.